The 7 levels of falling off in hip-hop. Level 1. The overhype phase. Every rap career starts with a dream, but some begin with an explosion. One viral hit, one catchy hook, and suddenly the world crowns a new king. The internet moves fast, and hype moves faster. A young rapper drops a single, and overnight they're everywhere. TikTok, Spotify, Genius interviews, memes, playlists. The labels smell potential, and they throw everything at them. Budget, styling, PR, fake narratives. The goal isn't growth, it's domination. But that's where the danger begins. Because domination without foundation is an illusion. When Designer dropped Panda, it wasn't just a hit, it was an anthem. The kind of song that owns summer and hijacks every car speaker in America. Kanye West co-signed it, and suddenly Designer wasn't just a rapper, he was a prophecy. Everyone said he was the next Future, the next star, the next big thing. But hype has a cruel habit of rewriting timelines. It doesn't let artists grow, it fast-forwards them to fame they can't sustain. Every new rapper goes through this first level, when the love feels endless, the numbers look unstoppable, and the cameras never stop flashing. But the truth behind the scenes is darker. Most of them haven't even built an identity yet. They don't know their sound, their vision, or who they are when the spotlight fades. So the label feeds them whatever's trending.
The internet calls them the future, and they believe it. But the future never lasts long in rap. Because fans are fickle and algorithms move faster than art. Once the hype train slows, so does everything else. The interviews, the sponsorships, the love. Suddenly that same artist who was once everyone's favorite becomes the punchline of whatever happened to conversations. It's not that they fell off, it's that they were never allowed to stand on their own. The overhype phase feels like success, but it's actually the beginning of a slow fall. Because fame that comes too fast never feels real, and when it fades, it hurts twice as hard. The same internet that crowned you next up will be the first to call you washed. And the worst part? You'll look back at those early moments realizing it wasn't success, it was setup.
Level 2. The repetition phase. Every rapper who survives the hype phase eventually hits the same wall. The sound that made them famous starts working against them. At first, the fans can't get enough. Every song feels like an extension of the one before it, and that's comforting. But then something changes. The same flow, the same beat, the same hook, it all starts to blur together. The audience begins to say the one thing no artist ever wants to hear. It all sounds the same. That sentence has ended more careers than bad contracts ever could. Because once fans lose curiosity, everything else collapses. DaBaby is the modern textbook example of this phase. His early records hit hard. They were energetic, funny, confident, but then the pattern became predictable. Every track felt like a copy-paste from the last one. The charisma was still there, but the excitement wasn't. And in rap, excitement is everything. When an artist stops evolving, the listeners subconsciously move on. Labels start to notice the decline in streams. Playlists stop adding the new singles. Radio stations rotate the old hits, but ignore the new ones. That's when panic creeps in.
The rapper doubles down on the same formula, believing it's their sound. But what they don't realize is that sound already expired in the minds of their fans. The repetition phase is dangerous because it doesn't look like failure at first. It looks like consistency. You think you're being loyal to your craft, but really, you're stuck in creative autopilot. Rappers stop experimenting because they're afraid to lose the little success they have left. They start chasing the same vibe, the same BPM, the same audience reaction, not realizing that true success in rap is built on surprise. Look at Travis Scott. His sound evolved with every era, every album. That's why he survived. But the ones who don't evolve end up frozen in time, sounding like 2019 in a world that's already in 2025. It's not even about talent anymore. It's about imagination. And when imagination dies, the career follows. The repetition phase feels safe, but it's actually artistic decay disguised as comfort. It's the slow, silent fall, the one where no one even notices you're gone until it's too late. Because the truth is, once fans can predict your next song, they stop waiting for it.
Level 3. The ego phase.
Fame does something strange to people. It doesn't just make them bigger, it changes how they see themselves. The ego phase begins right when the applause is loudest. The rapper starts believing they're untouchable, unstoppable, and unreplaceable. At first, it's harmless confidence. Interviews filled with bravado, social media full of expensive outfits and motivational quotes. But slowly, confidence turns into arrogance. The same humility that once connected them to fans disappears. Suddenly, they stop listening to advice. Producers, managers, even friends, their words don't matter anymore. Because when you're the star, everyone else just becomes background noise. Kanye West is one of the most famous examples of this phase. A genius, no doubt, but also a symbol of how ego can warp perception. When you're surrounded by yes men, you start mistaking approval for genius. Every idea feels revolutionary, even when it's reckless. Azealia Banks is another cautionary tale. Immensely talented, but her own words kept burning every bridge she crossed. Ego tells artists that they can say anything, do anything, and the fans will stay loyal forever. But loyalty in rap isn't built on fame, it's built on relatability. Once fans feel like you've left their world for your own, the connection fades. The ego phase is where the downfall becomes visible. The artist starts arguing online, feuding with everyone, and blaming others for their decline. When the music starts slipping, they say the industry is hating. When fans criticize them, they say people don't understand real art. It's denial dressed as confidence. What they don't realize is that the crowd they're talking down to used to be the same one that lifted them up. Every rapper who falls off passes through this level. Some recognize it early and pull back. Others go too far and never recover. The ego creates isolation. You stop evolving because you stop listening. You stop improving because you think you've already peaked. And soon, the people who used to admire you are now mocking you. In the digital age, ego doesn't just ruin careers, it broadcasts the crash in real time. Screenshots, memes, canceled tours. The world watches as you unravel. The ego phase feels powerful in the moment, but it's hollow. Because fame built on ego is fragile, and once it cracks, there's no fixing it. And that's when the silence after every boast starts sounding louder than the music ever did. Level 4, the industry blacklist phase. This is where the fall starts feeling real. It's no longer about declining streams or bad reviews. It's about doors quietly closing behind the scenes. The industry blacklist phase isn't official. There's no announcement, no headline, no press release. It just happens. One day you're getting booked for festivals, the next your name disappears from the lineup. The label stops answering calls. The features you used to get instantly now take months or never happen at all. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but you've become bad for business. It doesn't always mean you did something criminal. Sometimes you just became too unpredictable, too controversial, or too hard to manage. The industry loves money, not mess. And if your brand starts looking like chaos, even your friends would distance themselves to protect theirs. Look at Tory Lanez after the Megan Thee Stallion case, one of the biggest names in rap reduced to a pariah almost overnight. Or 6ix9ine, whose entire identity became more about drama than music. At one point, his numbers were massive, but his reputation made collaboration a risk. Even Chris Brown went through years of quiet exile after 2009, labels and sponsors keeping their distance, unsure how to associate without backlash. The industry blacklist phase isn't about talent, it's about optics. Because in modern rap, perception is currency. If your name brings controversy instead of clicks, the industry cuts ties faster than a bad headline can trend. Promoters start saying scheduling conflicts instead of "we dropped you." PR teams start ghosting you. Suddenly, everyone who once called you bro starts pretending they barely know you. It's a slow exile disguised as professionalism. You might still get some fans defending you online, but the machine that once pushed your music has completely shut off. And without that machine, even the most talented rapper feels invisible. Some try to fight it, releasing independent projects, going on rants about fake friends and label politics. Others just vanish into the shadows, blaming cancel culture for what's really just consequences. The truth is, the blacklist phase is the moment when fame's safety net disappears. You realize that every bit of power you had was borrowed from corporations, executives, playlists, and PR teams. And once they stop believing in you, you're on your own. The worst part? You don't even know you've been blacklisted until it's already too late. By the time you notice, you're already out of the conversation. And in the music world, silence is the deadliest form of rejection.
Level 5. The desperation phase. This is the most uncomfortable stage of all, the point where a rapper knows they're slipping but refuses to accept it. The numbers are down, the label's gone quiet, and the fans have moved on, but the artist keeps pretending everything's fine. That's when the desperation starts. It's subtle at first. They post more often, make random announcements, tease the biggest comeback ever. They start doing everything except improving the music. You'll see them hopping on every new trend, copying whatever's viral that week. Suddenly their sound shifts completely. Trap one month, drill the next, then a pop collab with a TikTok influencer no one asked for. They're not chasing creativity anymore, they're chasing attention. Iggy Azalea became a symbol of this phase. Endless comeback singles, each one trying to recreate the spark that was already gone. Lil Pump tried to turn political, then controversial, then funny, anything to stay visible. Blueface turned his career into a reality TV circus. When the music stops working, clout becomes the currency. And clout is addictive. The rapper convinces themselves that any publicity is good publicity. But the fans can sense the panic. They can smell when someone's trying too hard. The art feels forced. The posts feel desperate. The collaborations feel random.
The confidence that once made them magnetic now feels fake. They're fighting a war against irrelevance, and it's a battle they can't win. Some start beef with other rappers just to get blogs talking again. Others fake relationships, fake breakups, or stage leaks just to trend for a weekend. But attention earned through chaos never lasts. It only reminds people how far you've fallen. The desperation phase is painful to watch because it's human. It's the artist realizing they've gone from superstar to spectacle. They'll tell themselves it's just a new era or reinvention. But the truth is, they're drowning. Labels see it, fans see it, even the rapper knows it deep down. The music loses soul, the lyrics lose honesty, and the whole brand becomes survival mode. Every interview becomes defensive. Every headline sounds like a plea. I'm still relevant. But relevance isn't something you beg for. It's something you earn. And once the culture moves on, there's no way to force it back. This is the level where pride turns into panic, and every move feels like a cry for help. By now, the fall isn't just visible, it's public. Everyone's watching, but nobody's listening. And that's when they realize fame doesn't end in silence. It ends in noise that nobody takes seriously anymore.
Level 6. The nostalgia phase. This is the phase where the past becomes a rapper's only lifeline. The hype is gone, the charts are quiet, and the only thing left to sell is memory. Suddenly, every post is a throwback. Every interview starts with, "Back when I dropped my biggest hit." Every concert set list is 90% old songs. They know the new music isn't connecting, so they cling to the era when it did. It's not even about growth anymore. It's about survival through nostalgia. Bow Wow, Nelly, Ja Rule, all legends, all living in this phase for years. The names still draw crowds, but not because fans expect something new. They come to relive the feeling they had back then, not to discover what's next. Nostalgia becomes the product, and the artist becomes both the brand and the ghost of their former self. The crowd still cheers, but it's a different kind of cheer. Not for who you are, but for who you were. The rapper starts noticing it too. The compliments sound bittersweet. "Man, you used to run the game." The phone only rings when a nostalgia festival or early 2000s playlist needs a familiar face. They'll still say, "I'm working on new stuff," but the excitement in their voice doesn't match the energy they once had. Labels don't call anymore, but promoters still know there's money in memory. That's how nostalgia becomes both comfort and curse. You're still famous, but in a time capsule. Fans love you, but they've moved on emotionally. You've become a chapter in their youth, not a character in their present. And that's the silent tragedy of this level. Success never really leaves, it just freezes. The artist looks around and realizes the new generation doesn't even see them as competition. They've become OGs, legends, or worse, inspirations. It sounds flattering, but it's code for "you're done, but we respect you." The nostalgia phase is where the ego softens in the reflection. Some artists embrace it gracefully, like Snoop Dogg or 50 Cent, who turned legacy into business. Others keep fighting it, refusing to accept that their prime is over. But time always wins. You can't out-rap memory. You can't out-trend history. The concerts get smaller, the audience is older, and the screams quieter. And deep down, the artist knows the truth. They're not chasing the charts anymore. They're chasing the feeling. The same high they once got from the crowd that screamed their name in 2005, 2010, 2018. The nostalgia phase is beautiful and sad all at once. It's proof they mattered, but also proof they can't move forward. Because when you become your own greatest hit, there's nowhere left to go but replay.
Level 7. The ghost phase. This is the bottom. No shows, no streams, no mentions. They might still post, still record, but nobody's watching. Their social media turns into an echo chamber. The fans moved on. The industry forgot. It's not even hate anymore. It's indifference. Nobody's clowning them because nobody's talking about them at all. They drop music and get 10 comments, half of which are bots. The energy is gone. The mystique is gone. Lil Xan once had viral hits, press coverage, and controversy. Now he performs to 30 people and posts "I'm back" every few months. Trinidad James went from all gold everything dominating 2013 to quietly working behind the scenes, a ghost of his own hype. Famous Dex went through label issues, addiction, and health problems, and the industry simply moved on without him. At this stage, the rapper isn't even seen as washed, they're invisible. It's like they never existed. The algorithm buries them under newer, shinier artists. Their Spotify numbers freeze, YouTube views plateau, and their name disappears from conversations.
What hurts the most? The realization that fame doesn't fade. It evaporates. One year, you're everyone's obsession. The next, you're everyone's memory. And once a rapper hits the ghost phase, the comeback becomes nearly impossible. Because how can you return when the world already forgot you were gone?